Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Lamb. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. After months of continuous rain and snow, residents are struggling to clean up. But the governor says the good news is that the state is mostly out of a drought. He announced some new policy changes following the recent boost in water supplies. Students and staff in Los Angeles are back in school following the 3-day strike. But labor union negotiations are still ongoing between the LA School District and staff members. State lawmakers proposed a new bill to ban the sale of food products that contain harmful ingredients. One of the chemicals listed is red food dye, a common ingredient found in Skittles and other popular snacks. Tens of thousands of storm-weary Californians were without power and under evacuation warnings on Wednesday. Residents struggle to clean up before the storm brings more flooding to the rain-soaked state.
Storm cleanup is underway in a small mountain community of approximately 5,000 people in the Santa Cruz Mountains of Northern California. Boulder Creek residents banded together and cleaned up areas surrounding their homes.
Well, I've grown up here. I grew up with my family in Lompico area, and so I remember having being in the storm, or my parents getting up in the middle of the night and digging trenches. So I remember because there was water coming in our house. I remember that, but this is more intense. This is very different than what we've experienced. We've lived in this house for the past 3 years, and we came in with COVID, then the fires, then this. It's been a little bit crazy, and this is very extreme. This is not our usual winters, trees falling like this, especially redwoods. Typically there's other firs or things falling, but having redwood trees fall, that's very different than what we're used to.
Don Saputa's home took a direct hit from a falling tree.
My house is the one down at the end with the tree in the middle of the bedroom, so yeah, try to get access so we can hopefully clean up a little bit.
The atmospheric river storm dumped an additional 1 inch of rain throughout the day on Wednesday. The already saturated Southern and Central California regions have already been hit hard by a relentless string of storms that began in late December.
These storms have just basically put everything on hold, opening day for softball canceled. We've had probably 6 baseball games for the high school, and we haven't been able to play at our own field. It's still so wet from the January storms.
According to the National Weather Service, much of the region, along with parts of Arizona and Nevada, were under flood watches and advisories on Wednesday.
This community is pretty they're pretty tough out here, and I think in a time like this, everyone seems to be, a little friendlier.
The rapid succession of Pacific storms during the past 3 months has created an abrupt reversal of fortune for a state preoccupied by drought and wildfires for the past few years.
Governor Gavin Newsom visited a water project on Friday to announce that California is mostly out of the drought and highlight the state's actions to boost supplies in the face of recent floods. On Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom ended some of the state's water restrictions because a winter of relentless rain and snow has replenished state reservoirs and eased fears of a shortage after 3 years of severe drought.
It would be nice to have a governor say the drought is over. But unfortunately, the complication requires nuance. And today we're advancing a more nuanced advancement of some of our executive orders, 81 provisions that have been laid out since April of 2021.
The governor also announced that local agencies who supply water to 27 million people will get at least 75% of the water they requested from state supplies. Many farmers would also get more than originally planned. But Newsom did not declare an end to the drought, warning much of the state is still suffering from its lingering effects.
Answer the question, are we out of a drought? Mostly, but not completely.
The governor also said he would stop asking people to cut their water usage by 15%, a request he first made almost 2 years ago. California doesn't have enough capacity in its reservoirs to store all of the water from recent storms. Some reservoirs have to release water to make room for storms anticipated to come next week. It's back to school for the students today after getting 3 days off due to the 3-day strike by the SEIU Local 99, the Service Workers Union.
It's back to school for the Los Angeles Unified School District after school workers went on a 3-day strike. To show support, the teachers union joined in as well. SEIU Local 99 had planned to participate in a confidential mediation on Monday, but decided not to after a district spokesperson shared details of the negotiations. The unsuccessful negotiations with the school district have been going on for a year. In a tweet on Friday, the school district superintendent for Los Angeles, Alberto Carvalho, said, "We remain hopeful that we will reach an equitable agreement that recognizes the hard work of our employees and maintains the financial stability of the district. We know that our students, families, and employees are counting on us to reach a resolution." The union workers demanded a 30% pay raise and an additional $2 an hour over the next 4 years, increased employment hours for part-time workers. The Los Angeles School District on Monday announced the following offers: a $20 an hour minimum wage, a 23% recurring wage increase, in addition to a 3% cash-in-hand bonus, and employees working at least 4 or more hours to receive full health care benefits. The school closures left close to 500,000 kids from attending school. The district, however, announced several measures to assist families during the 3-day strike. The measures included daytime supervision at more than 150 schools, hosting after-school programs for elementary school children at 30 recreation centers, hosting programs with open gym and recreation equipment at 18 county recreation and park sites. And the Los Angeles County Zoo provided free admissions to district students. Some of the families depend on the daily meals provided to their children during school. Those families were able to pick up 6 grab-and-go meals per student at distribution sites during the closure.
Do you enjoy tasting the rainbow? Well, a proposed California bill could ban the sale of Skittles, hot tamales candy, and other food items containing certain chemicals linked to health concerns.
Assembly members Jesse Gabriel and Buffy Wicks introduced AB 418 in February. It proposes that California stop manufacturing, selling, or distributing foods that contain red dye number 3, among a number of other chemicals. Gabriel's office said in a news release that these chemicals can lead to an increased risk of cancer, decreased immunity, and hyperactivity in children. But Gabriel told the LA Times that the bill isn't looking to ban popular snacks. He said, quote, "What we're really trying to get them to do is to change their recipes. All of these are non-essential ingredients." The bill is currently waiting for a hearing in the Assembly Health Committee.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got for you when we come back. State lawmakers are fast-tracking a bill to place regulations on oil companies for windfall profits. If it's passed and the governor signs it, California would be the first state to implement profit penalties on the oil industry. Fans of fantasy adventure movies are praising 2 movies for their use of special effects. One is an Oscar-winning film that's back for its 20th anniversary. And one photographer is no amateur when it comes to cameras or waves. He braves the ocean to snap photos of world-class surfers. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Lamb. California's first-of-its-kind bill to cap oil company profits and regulate the industry easily won approval in the state Senate on Thursday. Now, it moves to the Assembly for another round of considerations and debates. If passed by both chambers and signed by the governor, California would make history as the first state to implement a windfall profits penalty on the oil industry.
Governor Gavin Newsom's proposal to punish oil companies for the record-high prices at the pump gained overwhelming support from Democratic senators. The bill, SB 2, cleared Senate committees and the Senate floor along a party-line vote of 30-8 on March 23rd. The proposal seeks to place a cap on windfall profits for oil companies and a price gouging rebate on refiners. The new program would also create industry oversight, asking companies to disclose sensitive private data, and a new state oversight department to issue fines and fees for violations.
Californians deserve to be protected against any business that unscrupulously pads its profit at our expense. And SB X12 is designed to do exactly that.
The bill's sponsor, State Senator Nancy Skinner, estimated California will pay up to $10 million in setup costs to organize the new division within the Energy Department. But Senate Republicans, who are outnumbered in the state legislature, opposed the rushed bill.
If you want to know what socialism is, it's government running everything. We're supposed to be in a not socialistic environment in America. We have the Constitution. We don't have the right to take private people's investments and earnings and redistribute them to somebody else. That's a takings under the Constitution.
During a committee hearing the previous day, a representative for the nation's oldest nonprofit petroleum trade association said industry stakeholders were never invited to discuss the proposal. He urged lawmakers to take more time before passing the bill.
But most immediately concerning is the confidentiality of this market-sensitive information. This bill now makes some of the confidential information available to a new, yet-to-be-determined, politically appointed board.
He says such a move could pose a security threat if the information ends up in the wrong hands.
You're asking a California regulatory body to set a maximum refinery profit margin, and then you're calling that price gouging. You're redefining what price gouging is. That's arbitrary, and it will have consequences.
Several other groups also opposed the bill, including the California Chamber of Commerce, California Fuels and Convenience Alliance, California Taxpayers Association, and 5 others. The bill now heads to the Assembly for consideration. A spokesman for the governor's office told the Epoch Times that Newsom called a special session in part because of the urgency and faster process. The bill's current version comes as lawmakers from both sides of the aisle voiced skepticism in a special meeting in late February. Industry and energy experts told lawmakers during the meeting that the penalty or any additional taxes could drive up the cost of fuel even more.
Fans of 2 fantasy adventure movies praised for their special effects have a lot to look forward to. Let's take a look.
It is time. The crownless again shall be king.
Become who you are born to be.
The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is returning to theaters for a 20th anniversary celebration. Fathom Events and Warner Brothers are showing the Oscar-winning film at U.S. cinemas on April 13th and 19th and Canadian theaters on April 20th. Check fathomevents.com for theater locations and tickets.
No doubt you've heard of our trouble at home.
A dragon, fire and stench. It is evil. Pure and simple.
You want me to do battle with that?
1981's Dragon Slayer was Oscar nominated for its visual effects, but director Matthew Robbins says cheap home video copies hurt the film's reputation.
The damage had been done back then in the early 80s when it was manufactured by some indifferent person on an assembly line or whatever. So anyway, I have been unable to watch the movie in all these years because it was too painful.
Now the cult classic is back on disc in 4K ultra high definition with a new commentary by Robbins and his frequent collaborator Guillermo del Toro.
A surfing photographer by the name of Fred Pompermayer has made waves with his photography. He risks his life to capture world-class surfers against a backdrop of enormous walls of water.
While most beachgoers would heed warnings of 50-foot waves, others like Fred Pompermayer do the opposite. Yet the risks he takes on are calculated ones. He told the Epoch Times you have to understand what the hazards are to avoid accidents, adding that it boils down to risk management, taking in all the what-ifs. The key thing is making the right decision in the moment. He describes it as being in the right place at the right time. While Pompermayer was born in Brazil, he had always loved surfing and eventually made a name for himself in Southern California. He said, "I went to pursue my passions of surfing and photography, moving to California to be closer to the best surfing. I've been a professional photographer for over 2 decades now." His work has been featured on over 50 magazine covers, in addition to a full spread in a famous Brazilian surfing magazine. Some of his recent works include photographing famous surfer Pierre Drolet at Jaws, Maui.
A communication to the soul and the spirit. That's what a movie soundtrack singer is saying about Shen Yun Performing Arts, and why the performance makes them want to be an even better person. Here's more.
Rick Rizzo is a studio singer. He sung on movie soundtracks including The Lion King and Shrek 2. On March 22nd, he went to see Shen Yun Performing Arts.
Being in entertainment for so many years, I know the difference about when a performance moves you, but when it goes beyond intellectual and it goes to the spirit and the soul and the heart, that's what I felt. I felt like I had embraced Chinese culture. And it was so motivating for me to want to be even a better person that I try to be.
The premier classical Chinese dance company just wrapped up 3 shows in Northridge, California. Rizzo noted the 2-stringed instrument called an erhu. He said it really caught the attention of him and his wife.
We were looking, kind of nudging each other silently, going like, wow, this is something that in all of our life, we've never experienced that kind of musical expression. It was almost like, because we're both professional singers, where there is that person that is just so much of a virtuoso that it's undeniable. You can just think we're in another dimension right now. So that's how we felt.
Oh my goodness, they were just like, they touched my spirit. They were so transcendent. It was amazing. You know, you have to be an actor to be a singer. You have to really be in touch with the emotions of a song. And there are times where you have to really dig deep. And I feel like that instrument, oh my goodness, it like really reaches into your heart. It reaches into your soul in the most tender, touching ways.
On top of the erhu, Rizzo said the coordination of the music and the dancing was flawless.
This was beyond a good effort. This was, for me, about as close to perfection in terms of the art form and the marriage between the orchestral aspects and the actual dancing aspects and performing aspects. It was seamless. Absolutely wonderful.
He said he resonated with the spiritual message portrayed in the performance.
My heart and my soul resonated to that message, because I do believe that we are not here by happenstance, that we have a divine creator, and that we carry that imprint on our own souls and spirits, and we let a lot of things get in the way, so to come back to that reminder was fabulous.
Shen Yun's mission is to revive China's 5,000 years of traditional culture. Other patrons also applauded the traditional values in the programs.
I think they're great. I think we're losing those. I mean, I look in all of the countries, I see the homogenization, so it's nice to see that continuity still there, the respect of elders, the respect for individuals, each other. And you see in different cultures, this respect is being lost.
Shen Yun's tour continues in California and elsewhere in the U.S. NTD News, California.
Shen Yun is coming to Lincoln Center, New York City in April and will be performing in the greater New York area for a month. Find the nearest performance at shenyun.com. Now, NTD's Carlos Reyes for an update on sports.
I'm Carlos Reyes, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup.
Kawhi Leonard scored 32 points and Russell Westbrook added 24 as Los Angeles took control in the second half and beat visiting Oklahoma City. Bones Highland had 16 points and 7 assists for Los Angeles, which avenged an 101-100 home loss to Oklahoma City on Tuesday. The Clippers played without All-Star Paul George, who sprained his right knee Tuesday and will miss the remainder of the regular season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led Oklahoma City with 30 points against his former team. Josh Giddey scored 18 points and Jalen Williams added 16. Clippers 127, Thunder 105. Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James said there was no timetable for his return from the foot injury he suffered last month and refuted an earlier report on Thursday that stated he was hoping to take the court again on April 5th. The Lakers are currently fighting for their playoff lives and with 9 games left sit in 10th place in the Western Conference. There wasn't an evaluation today and there hasn't been any target date for my return, James tweeted. I'm just working around the clock every day, 3 times a day, to give myself the best chance of coming back full strength whenever that is. God bless y'all sources. I speak for myself. A report from ESPN citing sources said the future Hall of Famer was pushing to return for the Lakers' final 3 games of the season versus the Clippers, Suns, and Jazz. The Lakers have gone 7-5 since James suffered the injury during a come-from-behind win over the Dallas Mavericks on February 26th. JT Miller, Andre Kuzmenko, Connor Garland, Dakota Joshua, and Philip DiGiuseppe each had a goal and an assist as host Vancouver cruised past San Jose. Vasily Podkolzin and Sheldon Dries also scored for the Canucks, who defeated the Sharks for the 9th straight time. Thatcher Demko finished with 17 saves to improve to 8-0 in 8 career games against the Sharks. Tyler Myers added 2 assists. Thomas Hertl and Andrew Agostino scored for the Sharks, who lost their 8th straight game and fell for the 13th in the past 14 tries. James Reimer stopped just 14 of 21 shots. Canucks 7, Sharks 2. Adam Lowry scored the go-ahead goal in the 3rd period and also had an assist to push visiting Winnipeg past Anaheim. Mason Appleton and Kyle Connor also scored for the Jets, who won for the 3rd time in 4 games. Connor Hellebuck turned aside 18 shots. Cam Fowler and Frank Vetrano found the back of the net for the Ducks, who lost their 3rd game in a row. Lucas Dosto made an impressive 30 saves, but it wasn't enough to secure the Ducks a win. Jets 3, Ducks 2.
And that is it for today's Sports Roundup. I'm Carlos Reyes. Thanks for watching.
Now that's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like for you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Lamb. Have a wonderful weekend.